Okay, I have now imported my photos. I'm now in the library menu or mode at the top here on the right. I now have my different images that I can select from. I also have at my bottom the different images that I can select from. Now what I want to do is edit picture number 7. So I'm going to select picture number 7. You can see a little preview in the navigator here on the left hand side. And I'm going to select develop. So develop goes into the menu or mode layout where I can sort of make some basic or different changes to the photos, sort of edit it to make it look better. So this image is a bit soft. We could have more saturation. We could add more life and energy to the whole photograph. Now on the bottom left here, you can see there are different viewing modes. Reference view basically means that I can put an image on the left side as a reference to match the photo I'm editing on the right side. Now what's typically better is the cycle before and after views. So basically if I make any changes, the before will show me the original image and the after will show me my changes that I've made. I do prefer this one, or you can just stick with the loop wheel, which is just the image that you're editing. So I'm going to change to this one, the before and after view. I'm going to go through to the basic editing tools. Now if you see the top here, there's also our histogram. You can see there are different settings that we can adjust. For example, in our histogram we have our whites, our highlights, our just the balance sort of exposure, shadows, and the blacks. So blacks is the darkest regions, whites is the widest or lightest regions, and then highlights and shadows in between those, and then in the middle is just referred to as exposure. So when you adjust the sliders, you're actually adjusting the histogram or objects within the histogram and how the light sort of works. So you can actually drag both the top slider, which also affects these sliders. So every time you move any of these sliders, it actually affects the histogram. So let's say I want some, let's say we'll make it more brighter, increase the contrast. You can see when I decrease the contrast, a lot of my the histogram, the levels sort of try to go into the middle area. That's because we're getting less contrast. So everything looks more samey. There's less range between the lightest and darkest. If I increase it, we're spreading out. So there's less sort of middle gray area, and there's more harsher blacks and harsher whites. So increase a bit of contrast there. I do have a lot of white sort of that we've lost detail on. So if I slide it back to reduce my whites, you can see my whites down here has sort of been reduced too. And I might want to reduce my highlights too a little bit. Now in this under presence, we can also change several different settings. I can change it to add more texture. So texture, more hard lines. I'm trying to zoom in on this. You can see as I'm adjusting the texture, it's more harsh, hard lines around edges, whereas if I reduce it, it's more blurry, so that more softer look. Clarity, same kind of thing with harsh lines. Dehaze, removing some of the haze that could be in an image. I'm just going to leave that as 0. Vibrance, sort of how bright and vibrant an image is. And saturation sort of affects once again like the illumination of the image. So how saturated, how warm and bright and colorful the image is. So you can see, comparing these, there's a lot more life in this right image than in the left one. You can also change the temperature. So temperature refers to the lighting in the scene. So blue is colder, towards the right it's warmer temperature. So I'm going to go for like a cool look for this one. You can add tints. It's something I usually wouldn't really add unless you need to fix something in the image. That is sort of the basic sort of settings and changes we can make. There are other settings below. So tone curve, this uses the histogram and basically has your shadows, darks and lights and highlights, and you're basically changing sort of the curves by clicking and dragging different points. So it's a quick way to adjust sort of the value. So all the mid tones, or in these areas, will sort of be brighter. So this is scale of brightness, or see the highlights are sort of being increased or decreased. So it affects certain regions only. You can also, point color sort of allows you to select certain points in the color. Usually looks for lighter, so let's say that blue, and I can shift the tone of that color selection to a different hue if I wish to. Color grading lets you grade your color if it's incorrect, usually for color accuracy and matching. Detail allows you to denoise, so if your image is grainy or blurry, perhaps to a high ISO, you can click on denoise and it'll process the image and sort of try to fix up some of that noise in the image to sort of smoothen it out and make it look a bit nicer. Sometimes it may not be as noticeable. Sharpening of images. I usually don't play with these. The main things I sort of play around with is the basic settings and maybe the tone curve.